Hello people on the internet, my name is Josh Stevenson from Invest North, and I'm here to give you a 10-step solution to finding an affordable income property, not in your neighborhood, but in an affordable one. It's for all those people that feel that they've been priced out of the market and they want some extra money for groceries or their children's education. Follow me through the 10-step journey to financial independence. If you like this video and find it helpful, please press subscribe and like it. That way it can get out to more people. Step 1 is called Show Me the Money. And by show me the money, we want to determine the amount of equity you have in your house. Now, a lot of people are knowledgeable about this topic, but if you don't know the value of your house, you can A, ask a real estate company to come in and do it, but there might be some strings attached there. Or B, go to zolo.ca. It's an online service that you simply type in your address and boom, the approximate value of your house pops up based on comparables in the neighborhood. Step 2 in this process is called Lock It Down. And by lock, we mean line of credit. Now, there are 2 types of credit you can get in this circumstance. One is a secured line of credit against your house, and the other is an unsecured line of credit. You want the secured line of credit against your house because it doesn't affect your credit rating the same way. An unsecured line of credit, which has a large balance on it, can work against you and your credit rating and your ability to make purchases in the future. We don't want that. The best way to get a line of credit is to go to the bank which you have your mortgage with. They will gladly lend you some money if you have equity in your home. The best thing about using lines of credit to buy income producing properties is all of the interest is a tax write-off. Step 3 in this process is called happy home hunting. And by home, we mean income property. Now it's time to find the perfect income property for you. So you probably want to get on MLS and type in places that are north of you, a little more remote, that have affordable income property markets. We're talking about Sundridge, North Bay, Timmins, Sudbury, Burkes Falls, Trout Creek, places north of you that are more affordable. And once you have found some places that you're interested in and the market that you're interested in, press the heart button on the property and it'll store it for you. Remember, you're looking for towns and cities that have strong employment, appreciating home values, and good rents. After you've done this, you probably want to find out what a market rent is. How much do single family homes rent out for? What do you get for a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom if you're looking at duplexes or triplexes? And then you want to have a simple list of your expenses. You take your income or potential income minus your expenses and you get an idea of the cash flow you can produce. Step 4, find your hustler. And by hustler, I mean motivated real estate agent. Not all real estate agents are created equal. Some love to pound the pavement, find you a great deal, and they're in there like swimwear. Others are slow to return calls, slow to get you a showing, and the deal disappears. You don't want those ones. You should ask for somebody who specializes in income properties, who know about those ones in particular. You can also tell them you're thinking of building a portfolio in that town. They'll be your best friend. Remember, avoid the deadbeats, and the best real estate agents will tell you about the deals before they even come on the market. Those are the ones you want. The income property tour will probably take you about 3 hours if you look at multiple properties. Now, once you find that wonderful real estate agent, you want to send them a list of properties you're looking for and looking at. He or she should also have a list that you might be interested in as well. You give them the price range, let's say between $140,000 and $300,000, and they will compile a list that you'll be looking at. You're looking for single family homes with more bedrooms. The more bedrooms, the more cash flow it produces. A 2-bedroom doesn't earn the same as a 3 or a 4. You're also looking at the structure of the place. You're looking at the roof, the furnace, the neighborhood. Is it safe? Is there crime there? The average rents in that neighborhood. Are the schools around any good? Do people want to send their children there? Is there a bus route? Are there employment opportunities? Those are the things you're looking for. Step 6, make them an offer they can't refuse. Remember, when you're looking at an income property, you will get an MLS printout of the property that the real estate agent will bring you, and you look for something called DOM, Days on Market. If an income property has been on the market more than 20 or 30 days, you can lowball them. All offers you make on an income producing property should be dependent on financing and a home inspection. Also, if you're wondering what price should I go in on, your real estate agent should really help you out there. An income property is not like a house that you're gonna live in. You don't have an emotional attachment to these income producing properties, and you should not develop one. So you can walk away from this one. There are several others down the road. Remember, these northern markets, there's not as much competition. Step 7, lawyer up. You need a real estate lawyer, you need a home inspector, and you need financing once you find that perfect income producing property. Now, the home inspection is important, particularly in these markets where you don't really know the deal. Home inspections generally cost between $400 and $500. I would recommend that you get one. If a major problem is detected, you can renegotiate the price. So sometimes finding a defect is not a bad thing after all. You can lowball them after you make that initial offer to them. Financing. One thing that you have to do is shop around. You might want to look at something called ratehub.ca. It has the most competitive mortgage prices in the market and a little bit better than, say, the regular Scotiabank mortgage, the regular RBC mortgage. I also usually go with a variable rate. If you do the research, a variable rate always wins over a fixed rate, but people are a little bit worried to get that. It's up to you, but variable has worked for me and I've always come out on the winning end. Now, you might want to lock in at only 3 years rather than 5, because after 3 years your property might have appreciated and you can take the equity out and buy another income producing property. 5 years, you're hanging around for longer and you don't have that cash when you want it. In terms of real estate lawyers, you want to find somebody reliable in your own town, not in the town that you're buying property in, because you don't want to have to drive there to sign papers and to go to those meetings. So find somebody that you know in your own town. One more thing that you should be aware of when you're buying an income producing property is the amortization rate. You want to try and get the longest amortization that you can. So when you're buying your own home, a 25-year deal might be a good thing. But when you're buying an income producing property, a 30-year deal, or even a 35 if you can get it, is the better deal. That means you pay less of your mortgage each month and the cash flow is much greater. Step 8, fill her up. Once you've found that wonderful income producing property and close the deal, you need to fill it up with quality tenants. Now this is a tricky step because I've seen a lot of people get into the income property game, encounter some nightmare tenants, and then quickly give up. I don't want that to happen to you. So there are a few things that you can do to make sure that this process goes smoothly. The first thing that you want to do is put an ad on Kijiji, put it out to the general public and say that the showings will happen between 4 and 5 p.m. on a Sunday, or a window of time where they can show up. The more people that show up at the same time, the better, because then they'll see that there's some competition for the apartment, they're not going to question the price, and they're going to get their ducks in a row very quickly. If 8 people say that they're going to show up for the viewing and you only get 4, don't take it personally. That's just the nature of the game. It happens all the time. You haven't run a bad ad, you're not bad at this, that just happens. So once you get some serious applicants, the first thing you want to do is look at their Facebook page. If they're holding a 4-foot bong, run like the wind. You don't want those people. If you look at their family photos and you look behind and there's a sink full of dirty dishes and there are holes in the wall and the place is disgusting, Again, run like the wind. Facebook's your best friend. Also, you want to make sure they can afford the place, so you need a pay stub. Perhaps they're on government assistance. Perhaps there are 2 income earners in that family. Make sure they can afford it. Also, you might want to talk to their former landlord, but that is not always the best case because some landlords are so keen to get rid of these people because they're a nightmare, they'll lie to you and they'll say, oh yeah, they're the best tenants in the world, when in reality, they are a nightmare. So, some people do credit checks. I personally don't. I go with my gut, I go with Facebook, I go with the income statements. If you want to go with that credit check, that's your own business, maybe. I'm kind of wary of young people in their 20s that are in a couple. Oftentimes they're very volatile. They'll break up, one person will leave and the other can't afford it. They get in big fights, they affect the neighbors. So I generally avoid people in their 20s, young couples in their 20s. A lot of people will say they have a small dog when it's a large dog. You might want to ask to meet the dog and to determine the size and if it's legit. And I also notice people of a certain socioeconomic bracket love their pets, and they'll have a guinea pig and a groundhog and 2 German shepherds and 5 cats. So be very wary of those pets. They can ruin your place. Step 9, it's closing time. Closing day is an incredibly busy time at your lawyer's office. You're signing all those documents. It's a marathon. Before you do that, however, you need a legally binding lease in place with your tenant. Now, in Ontario, the only lease that is recognized by the government at this point is found on the ontario.ca website. Download that and sign that one with your tenants. All others are null and void. Now, when you're filling out that lease, put the snow removal on them. They should shovel out their driveway and their walkways. Utilities, I already mentioned, you don't want your tenants running up those utilities. Oftentimes, they'll have the heat on full blast and 2 windows open. It drives you insane. Also, they'll have every TV and computer and video game on in the world. You're on the line for that electricity. Put that in their name if you can. In a duplex or a triplex, if they are separately metered, make sure that they're paying their own utilities. You'll thank me later. Finally, go to the lawyer's office, sign all the documents, and if you don't want to be in North Bay or Timmins or Sudbury the day of closing, the day your tenants move in, your real estate agent will be more than happy to hand the keys to your tenants and they can do it from there. You know, they've made a lot of money through you, it's the least they can do. Step 10, get her done. The last thing you need to do to close this deal is to make sure that your place is move-in ready the day your tenants move in. Now, if you're unavailable, your real estate agent might want to do that last walkthrough for you and let you know if there's anything that you need to address. But most sellers know that that place has to be spick and span and in tip-top shape the day that they hand it over to you. Make sure if there's a shed in the back to lock it up. If there are extra storerooms in the basement, lock those up. Tenants often fill those things with all of their items and then they move out and it's your responsibility. Lock everything up that is not on the lease and make sure it doesn't get filled with junk. So I hope that this video has shown you that yes, it is possible to buy a property in a market that is far away from you and to purchase and run it effectively from afar. Now, those of you that are wanting a property management company to help you out in this situation, remember it's about 10% of the overall monthly rent. So if you rent out a single family home for $1,400, you'll be paying the property management company $140 of that. If this is a bit daunting to you, this entire process, remember Invest North does this for people all the time. We help people buy properties that are suitable. We put good tenants in place. We will help with the financing if you're having trouble getting a mortgage. We will provide screening, and we can handle property management if you like. So remember, the best time to buy real estate is yesterday.